Hey guys, what's up? It's Cam. Welcome to my channel. So if you couldn't tell from today's title, this is going to be a roommate horror story. So I'm in my own room now, which is like really nice. I just got scared by the residence hall director because he was knocking at my door, and like when people knock on my door, like I don't want to be bothered. I was literally just filming this, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna like let it go. And then he opened my door and I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? So just for this video, we're not going to use her real name, so I'm just going to call her Grace. So it was technically a random roommate situation, and what had happened was through like the app or like whatever, you could like leave some like information on there, like Instagram, like talk a little bit about yourself. So I had just gotten back from my trip to California for spring break. So it's like the first week in April. So I get a or she requests to follow me, and then I get a message and she's just like, hey, and I was like, oh, hey, and then like we started talking and like we got along really well, and she had asked me like, oh, what colors are you thinking about doing? I was like, oh, I'm thinking about doing like a light purple, maybe like white for like colors. And she's like, oh my god, I'm doing the same thing. And I was like, Grace girl, roommate match made in heaven. Who? Like, it was just going so smoothly, and I was just like, this is gonna be good. So like a couple months later, well, we had orientation, so you had to like sign up for 2 days because it ran for 2 days, which was really annoying. So she had kept asking me like, when are you signing up, what days are you going, and like I still had to like talk to my dad and be like, hey dad, what days are you available? And like she just kept like asking, and I was just like, I don't know yet, like I will let you know. This is bothering me. So I finally told her I'm going these 2 days. So she signed up for the same days as me. So my dad asked me, she's like, so is Grace going? Are you gonna meet her? I'm like, oh yeah, like she signed up for the same days as me, so we're both gonna like meet each other. And I was like really excited. Like I was telling everyone at school, like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet my roommate like right after graduation. Woo! And so orientation comes around, and I was placed in a different group than her because it all depended on like what time you got there, and also they were just like, you go here, you go there. So I was in a different group than her, which I was okay with because I'm a pretty extroverted person. Like I like to meet people, I like to be outgoing, I like to be myself. And so we were all in like this big auditorium place, and I was sitting with my group, and I happened to like look down and I saw her, and I Snapchat her like a picture of the back of her head. I was like, I see you. So she turns around, I'm just like, hey, how's it going? I was like way many rows back. So then after like the first couple like talks are over, we get a break. So I'm like with like one of the people I met in my group, and I'm just like, oh, this is my roommate Grace. And she was just kind of like, hi. And then she was like complaining, she goes, I haven't made any friends in my group. She's like, no one talks. And I'm just like, I'm the exact opposite of you. Everyone is talking, we are all getting along, like just having a good time. Well, she's over here like, no one's talking to me. I'm just like, I'm sorry, like try talking to them maybe. She goes, I have, and they just don't talk to me. I'm just like, okay, like I'm sorry. So later on that night, we got the opportunity to go bowling and just have like a dance party. So and it was like all the groups, and you had to stay for like at least 30 minutes. So I'm there with like some of my friends that I met, and they're like, where's Grace? I'm like, she hasn't like really texted me yet, like if she was here or not. And then like we finally run into her, and we do like one game of bowling, and then one of the girls had left because she just, we don't even know what happened. She just kind of like left. So Grace and I were just, I was kind of tired, but like they started playing the wobble, so her and I just started dancing, and we decided, we're like, okay, well, I'm tired, like I'm ready to go back to the dorm. So we have no idea how to get back to this dorm, and it was pouring rain out. So she's like, I have no idea where we're going. And I was like, well, neither do I. We started walking in the wrong direction. I was like, no. I was like, we need to turn around. We're not going the right way. So we finally get into this parking garage, and we find the girl who just up and left, and she was freaking out because she hates storms. And Grace is just like, you need to calm down. And I was like she felt bad, but she was like, it's a storm, like calm down. And I was just like, alright, well, we're gonna walk back with you. We're gonna make sure you get there okay. Like, we are in this together. So we get back there, and she's like soaking wet. I felt so bad. And since we stayed Thursday to Friday, so I didn't have a roommate that night because we got roommates that night, but it was like, she wasn't my roommate. But I didn't have one, and she didn't have one. So I was like, oh, well, you can just stay in my room. And she's like, or you could just come to mine because I don't feel like moving. So I was just like, okay, I mean, I guess I have to get used to sleeping in a room with you, so whatever. So we talked that night, and then moving day comes, like everything's fine. Like I moved in before her, like 10 minutes, but we both moved in like earlier than a lot of people because I was doing an early start program and so was she, but we were in 2 different programs. So the one I was in, we had like a tentative schedule where we had to like be here at this time, then go here, then like do all these activities. She just had to go to a class and then come back to the room. So she was like a lot more bored than I was. And so there were times where she'd like text me like, where are you? And I'm just like, oh, I'm here right now, like getting food. And then she would be like, okay, I'm on my way. And then like 5 minutes later, like we were told, oh, come on, like we have to go to the next place. So then as she'd be walking there, I'd have to text her, hey, we're leaving, I have to go somewhere else now. And she would like, she'd be irritated, but like she wasn't even like attempting to make friends, which was like really irritating me because I had all these friends from like the group I was in and from other groups. So there was one time I was getting lunch with one of my friends, and like we didn't really have to go anywhere for like a couple hours or something, and I see her walking like through the window, and I like looked at him. I was like, watch her text me asking me where I'm at. And about 10 seconds later I got the message, hey, where are you? And like I brought her, I attempted to bring her to hang out with my friends, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and she just was not having it. She was sitting on the phone, she wasn't really playing, she wasn't really talking to us. And so like she stayed for maybe like half an hour, and I was gonna stay for longer, and she's just like, okay, well, I'm leaving. And I said, okay. And as soon as she left, all of them were like, what's Grace's problem? Why was she sitting on her phone? Why wasn't she interacting with us? Why does she have an attitude? But they were like also like worried because they're like, okay, well, she's walking alone at night, because it was nighttime, maybe like 10:30, 11, and she had to walk across campus to get back to our dorm. And they were like, make sure she gets home, like text her when she gets there. And I was like, okay. So we were fine. Like we would go hang out together, we would do things together. And then one day in September, the dorm that we live in does not have air conditioning, so we kept the window open for the air to like come through. And my desk was against the window, and it had rained, and the rain got through the screen. So the next morning I get up to go to class, and my laptop is wet. Everything on my desk is wet. So I was not a happy camper. And so I had asked her later on that day, I said, hey, do you mind if we close the window when it rains? And she like got all defensive. She's like, why? I was like, well, you know, like since it rained last night, like everything on my desk got wet and like my laptop got wet as well. And she just told me, just put your things in a bag. You see, if there wasn't a lot on my desk, maybe I would, or I'd move it. But I'm not gonna put my $2,000 laptop in a bag. I don't know why she would think to say that. So then, my boyfriend would come because he doesn't go here. So he would come on like the weekend sometime and like spend the night, and she never had a problem with it. But yet she was very rude toward him, and he had done nothing to her. She had a nickname that she did not like. It wasn't even that bad. It was just a shorter version of her name, but she didn't like her name. So he came to pick me up one morning because I was going to go home with him. And he comes in the room and he's like, good morning, Grace. But instead of like saying, like, he called her by her nickname on accident. And I like looked at him, I was like, don't call her that. And I didn't catch this, but she gave him like a death stare and just went back to doing her makeup. And I was like, you know, you could have said like good morning or hi. Like he was trying to be polite to you, but no. So then the problems started happening like mid-October. She had been starting to like put dirty bowls on my dresser, and she would stack them. She would leave her straightener on my dresser, and I had to move it every morning because the cord was hanging down, and like if I opened one of the drawers, the straightener would fall off. So I had to like start doing that in the morning, and then she'd put it back. My job was just like, I moved it on your side for a reason, like don't use my dresser, please. And she started to get really slobby. She'd leave clothes on the floor, and I'm just like, you wanna pick that up or something? She wouldn't take the trash out. She would let the trash overflow. So I was in charge of taking the trash out every single time. When it was supposed to be me one week, her the next, she would just like let it fill up to the top, sometimes even overflow, that I had to get a second trash bag to start putting that trash in. So I was the main one trying to like take care of the room. Like I did the trash, I swept the floor, I kept my side clean. Like she just didn't care. And so eventually her and I just stopped talking altogether. Like nothing was said at all. I would come in the room, I'd be on the phone with my boyfriend, or I'd be watching a movie doing homework. She'd be in the room. I would not say anything to her because I was just like, what is there to say? I don't want to talk to you. And she never made an attempt to talk to me. Though there were a couple mornings where you have to like use your ID to get into the bathroom. And I like had just woken up, and she'd be like, can I use your ID to get into the bathroom? I don't want to use mine. I just handed it to her. I was like, here, like, whatever. And it wasn't just that she treated my boyfriend terribly, but like any person I brought to the room, even if it was like one of my neighbors, like across the hall, she would give them a death stare and was completely rude to them. And this girl has like no friends. She maybe has like 3, but like she never had them over. She never really talked to them unless they were in class. I tried to invite my friends over, and she was nice to like one person. because he like tried to include her in conversation. But like one of my other friends, I can remember we went to go to this thing. It's like where you like make crafts and like hang out and stuff. And her friend was spending the night. So her and her friend were already there. And then me and my friend showed up. And she like was like, oh hey Camille, and so like we went over there, and she's in a dance group, and so are my friend's friends, or my friend, his two friends are in there. Wow. And there's like a beginner and an advanced. She's in the advanced, they're in the beginner, but they just do it for fun. So we're just like standing there, and all of a sudden she looks at him and she's just like, your friends are really bad dancers because they're only in beginners, and you said that they were like good. And he's like, I never said that, I just said they did it for fun. And she was just like, well, I'm better than them, they suck. I'm just like, why do you need to say this? And then after that he was just like, okay, I don't want to be around Grace anymore. So we ended up leaving, and then I went back to my room. And then her and her friend were gonna go out to a party, which she never parties. But she went to this party, and they came back at 2 in the morning, slamming the door. I'm just like, I'm trying to sleep here. Like, you don't need to be like coming in, talking, whatever. And then another thing was, my boyfriend would always call me in the morning, and it was like never an issue. So this one morning he calls me, and like we were just on the phone, and apparently she was like trying to sleep because like she didn't feel good and she didn't have class that day. Well, I didn't know. It was like 9:30 in the morning, and she Snapchats me, doesn't say a word to me, she Snapchats me and was like, you need to talk outside of the room, I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, excuse me, first of all, I'm getting ready to go to class right now. Okay. She said a lot of things on Snapchat that she would not say to me in person. Her and I had a streak, and one time he spent the night, and it was like in the morning, and I had class that day, and I had class at 9 in the morning this time, and she had class an hour later. So it was like maybe 8:15 in the morning, and we were like watching this video, and he started laughing, and she got pissed. She sent shrieks and was like, when your roommate and her boyfriend wake you up 30 minutes before you wanted to wake up, and sent it to me. I'm like, you could have asked us to be quiet. Like, I'm sorry that we woke you up 30 minutes before you wanted to wake up. You know, sometimes I wake up early and I can't go back to bed. It sucks, but deal with it. Yet she would come in the room at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to sleep, on FaceTime with her boyfriend with no headphones, so I could hear their whole conversation. I used headphones. She had like 3 pairs of headphones in the room that she didn't use. And so finally, after a break, I was like, I've had enough of this. I need to get out of this room. And I didn't tell her that I was moving out because I was just like, she doesn't deserve to know. Like, why should I tell her? So I moved out. She watched me, because I have the mini fridge. She watched me take out all of her drinks from the mini fridge and put them on my dresser with her microwave. And I was like tempted to be like, oh, now you can use my dresser now, you know, since you like to use it when I was living here. But I wasn't gonna be like that. But the funny thing is that when my dad met her at orientation, because parents could come with you, my dad warned me about her, and I didn't think much of it. I was just like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, she's not someone I should worry about. I was wrong. Even my boyfriend had his suspicions about her. So, moral of this story is that if you get a random roommate and you meet them and like someone has a suspicion, Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your significant other, maybe it's your friends. Listen to them, because sometimes they're right. They might not always be right, but sometimes they are. And get out of that room as soon as possible. Don't be like me and wait for the whole semester and just be like, no, I could do the rest of this semester. I wish I would have moved out sooner because I'm so much happier now. So yeah, moral of the story, you have a crazy roommate, get out of there. Alright, this has been it for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.